It has now been 6 months since British Airways unveiled its revamp, its overhaul, its decimation of its loyalty scheme, the Executive Club. The December announcement, late December 2024, was met with incandescent rage, disappointment, confusion, befuddlement, all those types of words. You can check out my first video on the Executive Club changes here if you really want the details of it. But essentially, the system became a spend based system. So your status depended on how much you spent with the airline. This came in effect on the 1st of April 2025. So the old system where you had like 300 points for bronze, 600 for silver, and 1500 for gold membership. That was based on the distance in the cabin you flew, and we had all the fun and frolics of tier point runs and XYZ, and people would get it. I got gold with £3 and 2 flights and all that kind of stuff. Fair play, good luck to them. But from the 1st of April 2025, the system transitioned, if you will, to the spend based system. So your tier points are now based on your spend. So £1 spent with British Airways got you one tier point. And as a quick reminder, tier points are different to Avios points. So tier points are the points the British Airways use to get your status level. Separately to that, the Avios points. Now, the Avios points that British Airways use and other airlines are your de facto air miles. So these air miles are almost like the currency. So they keep stacking up. Tier points reset each year, every year. So there's a difference in the two. And make sure we keep them separate. And you needed 3,500 tier points or 3,500 quid for bronze, 7,500 for silver, and a rather unattainable for almost everybody 20,000 tier points for gold. That's right, £20,000 you need to spend with British Airways to get gold or various other caveats. Principally, that's a lot of money. And also, if you're not booking holidays and you're booking flights, you can strip out some of the taxes and duties and all that sort of stuff. So you're probably going to end up spending considerably more. Anyway, so all that's by the by. One thing that did pique the interest, tease some of us, was the announcement in December initially that the British Airways Amex card, the premium card that is, a premier card, would be included. And there was a hint. They said up to 2,500 tier points could be earned to by using this card. And again, very interesting because that 2,500 is quite a big chunk. Certainly, it practically gets you to bronze, but also obviously it's a third of the way to silver. So okay, all interesting. That's something outside of the spend with British Airways that could make a huge difference, I should say, to getting status. So everyone's excited. 1st of April came, no news, no announcement. What's going on? Still waiting, still waiting. And finally, yesterday, there was an email that came through to me explaining how the Amex British Airways tier point system will work. And I'm very briefly going to go through the key points that you need to know. It's not as exciting as it could be, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Let's start with the positives. The first thing you need to know is that they've given us 500 tier points. That's right. If you have one of these Amex cards, British Airways has just dumped 500 tier points into your account. Hey, I think, in fairness to them, that's a really good gesture. Practically for me, it's irrelevant because I'm now in that limbo between silver and gold for this year, and there's no way I'm going to get to gold, so it's largely pointless. I think it might get me to the 16,000 tier points. I need to get another wedge of 5,000 Avios. So, it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, so good news to everyone who has one of these Amex cards that you're now 500 tier points better off. The next thing you need to know is the applicable spend to unlock the various tier points. Now, the way the Amex card works for Avios is you have to spend, or not you have to spend, well, you do have to spend, but for every pound you spend, you get 1.5 Avios points, and that's across the board, no thresholds or anything like that. The Amex card also has the companion voucher, which you trigger when you get to the £15,000 spend. Now, the way this system is going to work is it's going to be using the threshold system similar to the companion voucher rather than the Avios system. So don't get confused. Don't think you're going to be earning tier points each spend. You have to hit the threshold. This is probably where people might get a little bit annoyed. The first threshold is the same as the companion voucher, which is £15,000 worth of spend. So you hit £15,000 worth of spend, and you'll get your companion voucher, and you'll get 750 shiny tier points. Uh, well, okay, so that's all. You know what? At the moment, if I spend £15,000, I get a companion voucher. But if I also get 750 tier points, then that's good, isn't it? It's a bonus. Now, one of the grumbles or gripes or issues that people have with the Amex cards, the BA Amex cards, is that the spend threshold of 15,000 for the companion voucher is great, but there's not much more in terms of reasoning or rationale to go beyond that other than earning a few more Avios points. Well, this has changed. I'm not really sure it's a massive incentive, but 15,000 spend. Well, for another extra 5,000, so if you spend £20,000 on the card, you'll get another 750 tier points. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Then it's the big one. So you spend another £5,000. So your total spend of £25,000 will get you an additional 1,000 tier points. So there you go. You get your 2,500 tier points for spending £25,000 on your Amex card. Now, I appreciate that is a huge amount of money for so many people out there, and it may sound a bit twee or glib or indeed arrogant for a lot of people to sit there going, "Hey, that's great! Get another 2,500 tier points. Have another 25 grand." Yeah, I appreciate that this is going to be way out of the realms of most of us normal people. Certainly, if like me, I just signed up my other half. So hang on, is it even feasible to be putting £50,000 on those credit cards? Probably is. And is it actually worth it just for the tier points? Yeah, maybe we'll come to that. So yeah, so be aware that this is a threshold based system, and you're going to have to go to at least £25,000 worth of spend to get all the tier points that are on offer. Something else that caught my eye initially, and I jumped to the conclusion, and I was spitting feathers initially, but hey kids, remember, read everything through. Don't have knee jerk reactions. But it looked like initially this was going to be temporary. It was going to be a temporary offer, like all this fanfare and all this teasing, and it said this offer ends on the 1st of February 2026. And you have to enroll into this scheme as well, which is another stupid idea. But I was like, what? This is ridiculous. It's going to end on the 1st of February. What the hell are you guys doing? Well, fortunately, it looks like when I read the small print or another email came through, first one from Amex, second email from British Airways, that this is going to revamp or renew in the next year from the 1st of April. So my guess is don't panic. This isn't a temporary offer. It looks like it'll be permanent. I think they've kind of just got something out there so they can get muddled through this year, and maybe we'll see some finessing and some nuances as of the next proper year. But watch this space. But yeah, so it does not impact the long term issues of this card. I think, I hope, I assume so. So yeah, it's not temporary. Now we move on to the negatives, the perceived negatives, certainly the negatives from my point of view. Now, this offer obviously came in mid June or mid latest June, so just now. It doesn't include existing spend. So if you're like me and you're just nearly at the £15,000 spend that you need to get the companion voucher, and I'm just holding back from going over that to get a bit more of the leeway in terms of the 2 year period, I'm going to have to spend another £25,000 on top of my spend already, and obviously a ridiculously large amount of money. So yeah, so if you've already got a huge chunk of spend, then don't expect that's going to roll over. We could say the 500 tier points was a little sweetener on that, but unless you've just applied or just got your card like today, I think most people are going to be somewhat reluctant to say, well, I can't spend that kind of money, start racking up something else just to get a few tier points. The other main frustration I think a lot of people will have is the ridiculously tight time frame. So this offer expires on the 1st of February. Now, my guess is obviously they might try and align this next year with the executive club year, because otherwise things are going to be all over the shop in terms of tracking your tier points, tracking your Avios points, tracking your companion voucher, tracking all of that into your British Airways club membership. So it could get messy. But yeah, even so, in this initial first phase, we've now got what, just over 7 and a bit months till the 1st of February. That time frame to spend that kind of money. And again, yeah, if people have that kind of money slushing around, then absolutely fine. But for a lot of people, I mean, what that is thousands and thousands of pounds each month to splash out, to splurge, and it just is impractical and actually probably illogical for a lot of people, because you don't really want to spend that kind of money. That combination of disregarding existing spend and having the spend reset to zero, and also having such a narrow 7 and a bit month period to make that additional spend, is probably going to certainly make me, and I imagine a fair few people out there, just have this year as a bit of a write-off, saying, you know what, I'll just stick to plan A, and maybe we'll see what happens in 2026. But let's talk about this in principle, though. I don't think it's too bad, because it's nowhere near a chunk towards gold. But the fact is that this is just a bonus. You get extra points for the spend, so it's not really a bad change. In fact, it's a good change. They're not taking anything away yet. We'll see how that pans out. But the fact is they've added a little incentive, a little perk. Now we can say it's not particularly good or exciting or generous, but if you passively can earn some tier points, I think it was pretty good. If we are aiming for bronze or indeed silver, then hey, you know what? It takes a bit of a chunk away from that tier point threshold. So yeah, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. So it could have been a little bit more innovative. It could have been a bit more exciting. They could have revamped it. There's still time. There's still time. But that's where we stand at the moment. You now earn tier points on your BA Amex spend if you hit the £15,000 threshold and then breach by another £10,000. Of course, all the while still earning Avios points to use towards your companion voucher. I suppose, okay, let's just think this through logically. I have to spend, and I already focus on spending 15 grand to get a companion voucher. I spend 15 grand. I also get 750 tier points as a bonus. Great, that's fine. It's 10% of the way to silver. Then the additional spend above that, well, if I can do maybe 5 grand more, that's probably not that much. Another 5 grand, yeah. Then I'll make that tier point total a little bit higher, and obviously the threshold can drop down a little bit, especially if I'm using it to purchase British Airways flights or holidays. If you have made it thus far and you stuck with me with a stupid blistering sun making little beads of sweat come down, I keep dabbing myself so I don't look like a sweaty Betty. Thank you so much. If you are looking at cashing in your Avios, you can check out this video where I go through the best ways to redeem those precious Avios points.